Welcome everyone. I want to give some help for Requirement 3, 4, 5, a quick help for all of you. Requirement 3 is Experiment 4 from whatever you learned from Experiment 4, use the data set to subset the data. That's all it is. Very straightforward. So we already did that, we created that, the top frequent violators and, the data set as a data frame was also created. Now we want to select only those specific variables, that is DBA name, license number, violations, latitude, longitude, and do the rest of the work. We will keep violations, latitude, longitude for map purposes in Requirement 4, which is a modification of this data, further modification of this data. So we take this, we are going to group the data set. Whatever the data set we have here, we are going to group it by DBA name, and we will call it as group violators. Okay, DBA license DF is coming from this original data set from the Experiment 4, and using that I'm going to group by DBA name. So everything is now summarized. That's the main point. And in that group by, we are going to also further add the aggregate function, which is going to give us the count. Okay, the number of DBA name and the license number. Okay, number of DBA violations, number of the DBA name, and how many of them are there, and then the license number. Both are obtained using the series.count function, pd.series.count as the aggregate function, and for license number, pd.series.count. Okay, so we have two counts are there: the violation count and the license count, which is captured. And now I want to take we want to take only those two variables, report underscore violators dot columns. We will then select that, and then we will use that. The problem is solved, but we are going to do some conversion into integer type. Okay, so that it looks better instead of 0 dots, 2.0 and 7.0 and so on. So that is done here. So we have our DBA name as the index, from this one. That is because of the DBA name is considered as here as group by, and so the index name becomes the DBA name. The violation count and license count is counted here using this aggregate function. Now that if you print it, you get this answer. That's what this final DF is. Basically report underscore violators are. Now, among this, we want to subset the one that have violations at least above 3, above 2, so which means at least 3. Okay? So that's what the next problem is, and it's pretty straightforward. So we have a few other methods of reaching the same answer, so don't worry about that. We have done that. Now we are coming to the assignment 4, where we are going to plot it, but with a condition that further subsetting the data above data with at least 3 business licenses or more under the same DBA name. So it's again pretty fast, pretty good, pretty easy. So we take the report underscore violators from the previous assignment, from the previous requirements, and then we just subset this this by this condition. We take this license count is greater than 2, and that is giving us a truth table for this index, and that is passed to this one. So we get a subset lots of licenses, which means basically greater than 2, and that is this table. Now we want to plot this one. Remember that, right? So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we take the lat long for those subset only, subset for these things only. Okay, and so we want to select this DBA name as keep it as a list, DBA name, and we are going to put that DBA name into the this one. Okay, so we take the DF top frequent violators from the first data frame that we started in assignment 3. The requirement 3. We just want to make sure that the DBA name is in this list, so that now from that we can pick up the lat long, and that is done here. Okay, so this is the list we want. If whatever we have here, df top frequent violators DBA name is in this list, that means only we are going to get 6 records, right? 6 or 7 records, 3, 4, 7 records. Okay, those 7 records only, this condition is going to select only those 7 records. That's the point. Okay. Now, and then we are going to drop duplicates from the output. That then if you when you print it, you can see that, and we got the latitude, longitude also along with that. So we have the data that we can use it to print. Now you convert that into the lat long alone. You want to convert it into a list because that's how it will take. So the map function. So list of lat long pairs are df from this one. Is the df. Remember, it's the df. Df lat long values to list, and then only the lat long list is becoming like this. Now you can use it in the heat map function. Chicago map, which is defined here, Chicago map dot add underscore child plugins dot heat map list of lat long pairs comma radius 15. Okay, then you call the Chicago map, you get the answer. Now in requirement 5, we want to we have conditions on subsetting the data that plot on the heat map those facilities that serve children but failed inspections with high risk, and mice droppings were observed in the violations. So we just put the size 10,000, and then we query with the following must characteristics. That is, the must phrase violation should have the mice droppings were observed, and it should match also the query that results should have failed with the operator and, remember that, with the operator and, okay, with the operator and, so I have to go here. With the operator and here for the following queries, okay, for the following queries. So this is in the results, we should have failed. In the risk, we should have risk 1 high, and it should also satisfy this condition, query strength, that is, it should, the whole in the whole report, children should be there with space or other characters in by the side of left and right of the children, and the fields that we are using is facility type, violations, and DBA name. Those are the only fields that will be that are used for our purpose. Okay. So when we do that, we take the results, and that's the result here. Executes, it executes, and then we are going to convert it into we are going to convert it into data frame. So we take the result for result in results, hits and hits. So we are going to subset the data with these conditions. We will drop by doing this. We are going to drop rest of the metadata from the information from the output result, and then we keep the rest of the rest of them into our data frame. So accordingly, this is what we get here. So the inspection ID, all the other things will be coming in, except that, remember, the metadata will not be there. All the other key keywords, that key variables that we need are here. Now you can just check something. This is just a verification. That's fine. You can also do that. Now we want to make sure that the lat long pairs are brought in as before. So this is the loop that you have seen it before. We use the same kind of loop here, so hopefully it's not a problem. So what we are saying is that for inspection in results, so it's a subset we have, right? Our query result, and then out of that, current location is we are just defining as the empty list, and then we are going to add the lat long to this, okay, for the current list. That's what is happening here. So if latitude in document keys, document keys refers to, these are the document keys here. These are the if latitude document keys. If I'm coloring coming already here. Okay, so we want to count the frequencies here, which satisfies how many of them are there. So it turns out to be only 3 of them, and for inspection in results, hits, and then again another hits is coming here. It's 2 times we subset this one. And current location is the empty list, and then we want to fill up this, subsequently for, finding wherever we need to pick up, with those conditions, that is what is done here. We will add that to this list, and so there will be 3 such pairs of latitude, longitude, and those, once we find those latitude, longitude, we can use it into the, as before in the previous example, we will use it into the child Chicago map, Chicago underscore map dot add child plugins dot heat map list of lat long pairs radius 15, as before in the previous example. So this is already, you have done this one from the previous experiments, and so you can recall that one. This is slightly different from how it is done, in the previous example in terms of the lat long pairs, but it's something that you have done it in your experiments. So that's what I want to share with you tonight, so that you can, do your work. Thanks a lot.